These two teams would play each other 47 times, 4 times in the playoffs. Each game, a battle for both supremacy on the court and a place in NBA history. But ironically, the seeds of this rivalry were sown in Boston.
The Celtics were the old veteran team that nothing bothered them, and that annoyed the Pistons because the Pistons were trying as hard as they could and nothing they did worked.
Oh my! What a mistake by Detroit!
Then they jumped over the Celtics.
Isaiah sideline. It's through!
They became the bad boys, and then along comes this team out of the Midwest in Chicago, and the Pistons treated the Bulls the same way the Celtics had treated them. These young kids don't have what it takes.
We knew they were out there, we knew they were up and coming, but at that point in time, we just dismissed it because we knew they couldn't beat us.
While Detroit may not have considered Chicago a legitimate threat in the Eastern Conference, they still had reasons not to like them.
The game that the Pistons played was rugged, it was tough, it was gritty, and then here comes Michael. Michael is art.
Here's Jordan down the middle all the way! An unbelievable ball!
We didn't like seeing this young punk come in with all this great skill. And if you came down the middle, you were just going to get killed.
Michael on the move against Vinnie Johnson to the hoop. He is necktied. Oh. Michael Jordan goes down hard.
For Piston captain and Chicago native Isaiah Thomas, beating Jordan and the Bulls was personal.
Isaiah was a great star in Chicago. He was the athlete Chicagoans were maybe most proud of. And Michael walks and just takes Chicago away from him.
You know, you come home and your hometown fans despise you. That must have been tough to take.
It affected me because as a kid, I always wanted to play for the Chicago Bulls. But I loved it. I mean, I enjoyed it because we were always beating those guys.
Detroit realized Chicago had a more athletic team than they did, so they induced the younger, more fragile Bulls into a physical and psychological battle that would shape the rivalry for seasons to come.
Nice play, and Lampier taking a shot at Paxson, who did not like it.
It was almost like they bullied us and pushed us around. We always kind of felt like we had to challenge them and stand up to that, and that wasn't really who we were.
It was fun to get them off their game. That's how we got off. We were a very cerebral team. We loved to play the mental games.
Rodman would punch Pippen in the face or to hit him in the chest. He would so upset him, so infuriate him. Pippen couldn't play in these games.
They're so concerned about showing that they're men and they're physical and they're not going to back down. You know, they weren't really thinking about how we're going to execute and beat these guys.
Detroit and Chicago would meet for the first time in the playoffs in 1988. And the Pistons were determined to make sure the Bulls and the league's newly crowned MVP knew who ruled the Eastern Conference.
On the switch, Jordan clobbered, and the Pistons want to make Jordan pay.
Detroit's game may have lacked artistry, but it was effective, and they dismissed the Bulls in 5 games.
And the Pistons have now a return trip ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals.
The 1988 series, however, was merely a prelude of things to come. In 1989, Michael Jordan would lead the league in scoring for the 3rd straight year, and he would lead Chicago on a remarkable run to their first Eastern Conference Finals.
The Bulls win! They win!
But waiting for Chicago were their old friends, who had a new twist in their plans to stop Jordan and the Bulls.
He's the focal point of everything they do, so let's just break down what they do, and then let's give them different looks. So Chuck says, yeah, let's make a set of rules just for this guy.
The set of rules came to be known as the Jordan Rules, and the Pistons considered them classified information.
Jordan rule?
The Jordan Rules. Is that something you guys made up?
You know what? The Jordan Rules was just a whole lot of help.
Jordan over 4 players, and Sally came away with it.
The rules were more than defensive schemes, however. They were part of a grander psychological plan.
They always played into that. Michael wanted to do it all. Michael tried to score it all and played it against him.
I mean, he was like a warrior that said, all right, they got 3 people, I'm still going to take the ball to them.
My ego was involved, because I don't want a team to seem like they could dominate me or dominate us as a team.
Heads up, guys, because Valentine's Day is right around the corner, okay? But do not panic, because Dr. Damon has the foolproof formula for a gift that she is gonna love.
Ooh, you know what? Women just want a romantic surprise. Well, we've got Paul on the line, and he's looking for something special to give his wife.
Damon, I don't want to give her flowers again.
Oh, no.
That's good thinking,
No.
because for about the same price of flowers, you can give her a gift that is fun, and it's thoughtful, and it's gonna last forever. This year, Paul, say it with a Vermont teddy bear. You don't have to worry about the size or the color, and best of all, they're fat-free.
And Paul, send it to her at work. Women love that.
Imagine a mysterious box arriving. Inside is this romantic Don Juan bear, and there's this chocolate treat, and a love note from you that says, off the top of my head, I Don Juan anyone but you. How's that, Gina? Is that okay?
Sounds easy.
Oh, it is easy. You just call Vermont Teddy Bear, or you can shop online like I do.
It just takes minutes to order.
I am on a roll here, Gina. Can you please get me another caller?
Say hello to Larry.
Yo, Damon, I want to send her something that will really knock her socks off.
Ooh, Lair, just her socks?
Hey, stop that. Larry, I have something here in my hand. If you were to stop by the station, I'd show it to you. It is the Burnin' Love Bear from Vermont Teddy Bear. The tattoo on his arm. It's the perfect way to tell her that you want to light her fire.
Damon, Jill's on line 5.
Hi, Damon. My husband got me the Lover Boy bear with a heart-shaped love tattoo on his arm.
And?
I love it. Every time I see it, I think of him.
That's what I'm trying to say. Gina, this is a no-brainer.
We like when our guys get a little creative when they give a gift.
This Valentine's Day, say it with a Vermont Teddy Bear. It's a sure thing.
This year, send her the creative alternative to flowers. A Vermont Teddy Bear is fun, thoughtful, original, and lasts forever. Prices range from $49.95 to $99.95 plus shipping. Bear counselors are standing by to help you choose the perfect bear for your sweetheart. There's still time to have your bear delivered overnight or right on Valentine's Day. Call 1-800-566-6027 or shop online at vermontteddybear.com/TV.
Heartbreakers Week. Games that left you scratching your head. Bobby and the Knowles breeze into Charlottesville, but they get torched by Tiki Barber in a Cavalier upset. Heartbreakers Week concludes Florida State, Virginia from 95. 9 Eastern tonight on ESPN Classic.
Jason Williams. He wanted everybody to fear him, and he wanted everybody to love him.
Sports Century, February 14th. He was the life of the party.
You'd always have a good time with him.
Until the party turned tragic.
Police in New Jersey are investigating the death of a limousine driver.
There were a lot of warning signs with Jason.
He loved guns.
So when you mixed alcohol, you had a real problem.
The rise and fall of Jason Williams. Sports Century, 8 p.m. Friday, February 14th on ESPN Classic.
When Chicago and Detroit met in the 1989 Eastern Conference Finals, Jordan was determined to prove that the Pistons and their Jordan rules could not stop him. But it was Detroit's team defense and the Piston guards who imposed their will on the series.
Again, it's the dirty work. Detroit wants it more at this point.
Detroit's victory in 6 games would propel them to their first NBA title and rattle the confidence of the Bulls.
I remember in '89 when I was really frustrated about how this team was playing from Jordan rules to try to double and triple team me and make other players hurt them. And we knew what was happening, but yet we still didn't make them pay for that.
But Chicago was hoping that the experience of 1989 could help them the following season as they once again reached the Eastern Conference Finals, this time pushing Detroit to a decisive 7th game.
I thought it was a good opportunity to get over this mountain, this hurdle that seemed to have been in the way for the last 3 years.
Work all teams for this guy. Let's play hard. Leave it all on the floor. Let's go.
But Detroit had different ideas.
I thought it would be a cakewalk of a game. They just weren't strong enough mentally to compete at the level that we were competing at.
Thomas was right. The Bulls weren't ready, and the Pistons blew them out.
Bulls can't buy a basket. The lead is 20.
It's one of those situations where at certain points you think, I don't know if we can beat this team.
Jordan could not beat the Pistons by himself, and Scottie Pippen was a non-factor, falling victim to a migraine headache.
It was just one of those things where you went, they don't have it. There's something here or here that they haven't figured it out yet.
It's over. The Pistons return to the NBA Finals for the 3rd straight time.
When we lost that game, I got on the bus, and I remember my father coming on the bus, and I'm back yelling and screaming, and he he's doing all his best to try to calm me down and say, it's only a game, you could be given another opportunity. And I'm saying, well, we've been given so many opportunities, we're not going to get as many as you may think.
But Jordan and the Bulls would use their Game 7 defeat as motivation for the upcoming season.
In 1990-91, our whole focus was on Detroit. No one else made a difference.
And the team as a whole resolved to change their approach to Detroit in both body and mind.
This was a playground type team that played a very disciplined, organized game that was very, very physical. So my involvement as a coach was, you got to go away from pressure.
Phil very much tried to reinforce with us that if they hit us, you went away from it. There's something else available to you.
Jackson emphasized a team game, and it would pay off during the 1991 regular season, as the Bulls would finally finish with a better record than the Pistons. The ultimate test for the Bulls, however, would come once again in the Eastern Conference Finals.
We felt this is the chance to make them back down or shake our hands. So it was an unbelievable feeling. But then when the games came, it was unbelievable nervousness too.
The Bulls were anxious to prove that they had learned their lessons well and began dismantling Detroit from the outset.
Hart right ahead to Jordan. Michael in the drive in on Vinnie Johnson all the way to the hoop and lays it up.
Michael Jordan to Bill Cartwright.
There's panic all over the Pistons' faces.
First thought I thought after the first two games, I thought we're in trouble because he's figured out how to play now. Once he started using his teammates and still getting 30, it almost became impossible to beat him.
Jordan was not the only Bull, however, who had figured out how to beat the Pistons, as a more determined and mature Pippen had emerged as well. Chicago would no longer be intimidated by Detroit, nor baited into confrontation.
A beautiful backdoor pass for Pippen, and he is walloped. He knew he was going to get hit.
They understood that no matter what we threw at them, when we hit them hard, when we talked garbage to them in the paper or in front of them, none of our antics were finally working.
But we learned that it took a little bit more than just, desire. We had to use our minds. We had to outthink the other team.
And he comes up shooting. It's in.
Oh, Johnny Pax. Time is running out on this Detroit championship era.
It's Chicago in a sweep.
After all the losses and the frustration, sweeping them and winning on their home court was about as good as it got.
Chicago's emphatic victories signaled the end of Detroit's run. But even in defeat, the bad boys managed to keep the rivalry alive by refusing to shake Chicago's hands as the game ended.
They left the bench, although the 7 and 9/10 seconds remaining. The Pistons just left.
We were only doing what had been done to us. When we beat Boston, their starting five just left. They just walked out of the building.
They couldn't stand the fact that they could see us win on their court.
And we're not going out as demoralized. We're going out as we had just finished an accomplishment of a run that was unprecedented in the Piston history. We're very proud of it.
It just gave us more energy. And I think from that time on, I think we won 24 straight against Detroit, and we're not going to let them beat us anymore after that.
The Pistons would never challenge the Bulls again, but Detroit's 4-year battle with Chicago would prove invaluable in molding the Bulls into 6-time NBA champions.
The hurdles were very, very difficult, but I'm very happy that we went through those circumstances because it taught us to understand what winning was all about.
You know what they say, that familiarity breeds contempt? And that certainly was true of the Bulls-Pistons rivalry. That mutual dislike was one of the things that made those playoff series so intriguing. For those who watched Detroit against Chicago, or any of the other great rivalries, what will always stand out is the passion and the emotion they generated. In going head-to-head with everything on the line, the NBA's arch rivals have always brought out the best in each other, and they provided the league's most unforgettable moments. I'm Charlie Steiner.